What's up, Cumberland County? What's up, Fayetteville, North Carolina? What's up, Spring Lake, North Carolina? What's up, Fort Bragg and Pope Air Force Base and everybody in between? Excuse the hair. I've been cleaning, you know what I mean? But no. You know, if Val Jones getting ready to do a live, it's going to be a lesson. I don't know if it's a tower or what. It's a lesson type of a thing today, okay? I just wanted to say, and I'm not saying this in the spirit of hateration or jealousy or anything like that. It's just, it's about history. And you know, I can just record this, right? In fact, I might just do just that, because this is going to be all over the place. But for right now, consider this me giving back to my community, to my legacy, to the name of Robert James Franklin Jones. No offense to people like J. Cole or King Jones, activist and documentarian, right? You were doing that, right? Or Mayor, y'all can't handle the truth today. But that's okay, because real Rangers lead the way. I'm not talking about the fake Rangers that tried to get in my pants. I'm not talking about the people I know. I'm talking about people that used to try to do that dance when I was working at D103 Radio, or even Foxy 99. All right, is it true that you have to sleep to get to the top? Never was that going to be the life of mine. I don't do that. In fact, maybe why, you know what? I don't make the racks that some people do, because I was raised by two really great parents. I said good parents, but they were great parents. Ruth and Robert Jones, pioneers in their own home, but their names and their legacy seems to go away because everybody wants to be a celebrity, okay? As I said before, no offense to J. Cole, King Jones, or Mayor Mitch Colvin, but before it was Colvin Funeral Home, Ellie Garrett. Seriously? This makes no sense. We pay a lot of money for these phones, and the money spent, but the service is so poor. Saturn returns, look into that. But yeah, back to what I was saying, real history and more. Before Colvin Funeral Home, or Alder Funeral Home, Ellie Garrett's Funeral Home, the first black funeral home in Fayetteville, North Carolina. How do I know? Because my daddy worked for that. The commanding warrant officer, the black drill sergeant out of Fort Benning, born in Fayetteville, the real activist, before J. Cole, before Kim Jones. No relations. All Joneses are not the same. So let's get that straight. You're gonna remember my daddy's name. I don't know none of these people, but I'm putting some respect on my name, since you guys like to play these history games. But you know what? This is what I won't allow you to do. You keep talking about how white people are trying to rewrite the history and rewrite you out of it, but you do the same thing too. So what color answer should I look at? The one who's black or white or brown or blue or yellow or in between? You know what? Robert James Franklin Jones. Find out about that man. You know what I mean? It is sad, Merkson Road. It is sad, Broadell. It is sad, Seabrook Hills. Now I know you know, some of you, your elders know the deal, but you want to write a whole nother story and about like how this person lifted you up. But what did they do? What did they do? I remember when we had segregated schools. I remember when integration came in, because people thought that, ooh, people off Merkson Road had too much intelligence. And we were quite intelligent. Wait a minute. Didn't J. Cole come out of Massey Hill? The ones who were fighting and drug addicts and all that? For real, for real, for real? What is it? Seabrook Hills and stuff like that, where all the soldiers, you know, the people went into the military who tried to better themselves. Then they came and built a good community, a great community, and spite of the racism. And it's, you know, it's that. So that's why I say, if you ever think I'm going to hold back on what raised me and what grew me up, see, that's why you all look at certain black people like we're all the same, but we're not. And the reason why I'm tough, because I was made military tough, army tough, black tough, blackish tough, Native American tough, white. Listen, it was my great-great-great-grandmother who was buried at Jernigan Warren, who said, I don't even F with you hoes. Now I'm going to let that go. And right now, like I said, it's the Val Jones Ranger show. But before Colvin Funeral Home, it was Ellie Garrett's Funeral Home, of which my dad worked for that, one of the first black funeral home director, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I was just, if Eric Garris, you know, I was used to babysit him, that it was down on wherever that street is. You know where it is. Ellie Garris Funeral Home. Look up about that. Listen, my dad was being an activist, and my dad was in the community. My dad was in the community at these meetings and stuff like that. I remember it was a snowy. See, it's that. You all don't want the history. And you want to know who's holding us back? You want to blame it on white people holding us back. No, you hold us back too. You know exactly who I'm talking to. I mean, I swear, I tried to lift my community up, and what did they do? I can tell you this humiliation ritual that they talk about on the radio, you think it's all trendy and stuff until it happens to you. But I've had that played right in my own community or wherever I go, wherever I move. And if you think I'm going to be scared and have you let me stay in my house and don't talk about my history, then you got me effed up. All the way effed up. Because you know what? I'm like my mom and my dad. So very, 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 very royalty tough. Everybody's royal. Everybody is not. But it's that history, okay, that I'm talking about. So let's stop trying to reroute history and do some real research on that. I suggest you to look into the history and the legacy of Rivanna Jones, not my cousin them. Not my cousin them. Don't let them tell you about Rivanna, because my grandmama stopped talking to all of them. And even if it was her house and her land. Remember how I go out on the Rockefeller property and I said, this stuff looks familiar. My grandmother had houses like that. My grandfather on my mother's side had houses like that. I don't know why all of you think that we all grew up in shotgun houses, or I had to have a crack woman and my dad did drugs and he showed no love and he was out in the streets. None of that happens to everybody. It does happen to a lot of people, but it didn't happen to me. You keep talking about the bad stuff, but you don't want to talk about the good stuff in the community and the people who really were the community leaders before J. Cole, before Kim Jones started doing his little documentary. You know what? It's that magic money. How's that magic money going now? Heard that magic money done grown cold. Eastern Stars and Masons, you know about me. I know you do. Remember when you invited me to talk to you, and the only thing I said was, you know what, Pharisees and Sadducees, the stuff they did 2,000 years ago didn't look good, doesn't look good now. And some of y'all got mad at me, but let's be real about some of you all who applauded me, because those little girls who are getting ready to go over and you all up here honoring some old Ronald Isley, look at mofo, who these girls were in fear. I know when people have been touched, and it's that type of thing. You people, you know what, you illegal little creepy, eerie, sexually. Honestly, I'm glad that the military flies over me every day, because I could go Judge Dredd in all kinds of ways. But I just felt like telling the truth today, because it's Truth Tuesday, and the moon is in Aries. You know what they say? When the fire comes out, it's hot. But I'm a water sign, so please, and water holds all memories. So when it comes to this legacy is mine. Again, before J. Cole, before Kim Jones, before Mitch Colvin, was Robert James Franklin Jones. Do some real research about that. And if nobody knows, then ask me. I'm grown. I'm not stupid. I'm not insane. I'm not drugged out. I was very good in class, on top of my class, in fact. Do your research on that, whether it's at Seabrook, Cape Fear High, or Fayetteville State. But no, I see a whole bunch of people who love that. Y'all, like I said, y'all fake, y'all snakes. We're not doing that today. I hear my military. They're always there, okay? Our girl is protected. And maybe, maybe some of them you can buy out too, but you can't buy out everybody, and you can't buy out the truth, because the truth is priceless. That's why I'm telling you. But some of you, you really don't want the truth. But yet, you are preaching to the youth, and the youth can see everything you do and see that something's not right about you. And then you hold people back like me, like I don't know what I'm talking about. You try to do that humiliation ritual. Well, now I'm about to humiliate you. Shame, 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 shame on all of you who do these money games. Shame, 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 shame. You're the reason that things stay the same. Shame, 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 shame. Val Jones acting crazy? No, Val Jones is just fine. But if you think I'm going to let some people play on the top of my legacy and my daddy's legacy and my mama's legacy, you got me lying. That's not going to be me. Honey, please. I'm not afraid of the music industry, the political industry. I'm not afraid of anything. Why don't you ask them if they're afraid of me? You know what? The stuff that you did in my community to me, and if I honestly didn't have these people watching over me, they remind me every day, reminding you, you're a good girl. Your legacy. We love you, because these military brats are looking at you. They're looking at you to lead the way. They're not looking at these rappers, these fake rappers, these fake activists, these doughboys and drug boys, okay? Yeah, drug is a big, big, big money game, but hey, pay is still about pay. And when you keep having these little grifting ass little mofos who actually still in their own blow, like I say, a drunk and a drug addict The money goes away. But you know what? Some people know that. And actually, without a villain, you don't need a hero. And without a hero, you don't need a villain. Fine, okay, do your game your way. But again, if you thought I was going to let you play on the top of my mom and my dad, especially when I remember my dad back in the day, I remember how much my dad did for the community, Merkson Road, how dare you? That's why you're bummy, crummy, and you got that, and you got that curse on you too, just like on Ramsey Street. The Tokay area, which actually used to be a wine capital. You read nothing about those Charles Waddell Chestnut books, and that's another thing Fayetteville say. Charles Waddell Chestnut, so overlooked. Notice how they overlook the good people, the good history, the stuff that you really could grow up to. But you know what? They want to make slaves out of all of you. Slaves, slave masters, troublemakers. It's only three entities. Which one are you? I think it's clear about me, and I'm always going to be me. No matter what anybody say I should do. Because you know what? I was raised by a great mother, a great father. And they taught me how to be moral and strong and rep my integrity. And even if it's just me, I still got God, and God is in my life. And trust me, that's my power for three. So that's all I wanted to say today. Because you know what? You guys have gotten history way going a whole other way. But you have the nerve to talk about how other people are colonizing you. What happens when you colonize your own community with the stuff that you do? So you're gonna why don't you put something like what's Bill Curtis? Bill Curtis, a legend out of Fayetteville. Is there a mural for him? But no, y'all don't know Bill Curtis. But he literally set a whole tone with radio and music industry. The Fatback Band, you understand? Fayetteville has had some incredibly great artists, incredibly brilliant people. But you don't hear them because evidently that's a part of the plan. You lift the little dummy ones you can use up, and you keep the best down. Do you actually think that the commanding warrant officer's daughter and the real nurse, the one who was the first one to leave her family to go into the military, both my parents were sound. Both my parents were top of the class. Both my parents were brilliant. That's a fact. If I'm a genius, guess where I got it from? Because genius begets genius, just like trash begets trash. Y'all got me effed up all kinds of ways. So I'm here representing my legacy today. It's Truth Tuesday. Don't ever come in my face and think I'm gonna bow down to a lie. I don't think you know who I am, and yet I do. Who was the first black woman weather girl in Fayetteville, North Carolina? Was it you? No, it was me, Val Jones, aka Tony Collins, at WKFT TV. Now find all these little queens and all these little wannabes and all these little, I'm the queen of the radio. Yeah, and who taught you? Oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about some of the stuff that these people did and still do. How I had to stop some people's husbands from coming to beat them up, and beat up their lover in the parking lot. And I'm like, you know what? That's another story. I'm going to let God handle you. And it's all that too. All these God-fearing, God-driven, all these Christians who don't have a clue. You cannot possibly believe in God. But I bet you will in a moment, because God's got a word for you. Liar, liar, pants on fire. I hear all that magic money is starting to expire. But anyway, all I wanted to say today is it is Truth Tuesday, and my father, and I saw him in reality lead the way. So before I ever salute to the mural of J. Cole on Merkson Road, you know what, Merkson Road, all y'all blow. That is so sad that you hold your own history back, and that's why your festivals are all falling flat. You took the magic money, and the magic money disappeared and went away. Just like your credibility, okay? You can prove me wrong, but you're going to prove me wrong by sending some little gangbangers, some little baller, shot caller, or whatever to intimidate me today? I'm outside, let's play. I'm outside, let's play. Maybe I should have been a cop. They said, girl, you're not too old to be a cop. I am 69 years old. I would rather just, sit back and eat my snacks and tell these stories. But yet, you rather hear these stories from a thug or a hoe, or a liar, or a thief, or a criminal. What happened when preachers used to teach? and the grandparents weren't getting broke. Wow. The preachers up here just, building wealth up off false hopes. Man, y'all got stuff effed up. You got stuff effed up. It's starting to rain. But anyway, that's all I had to say today. And if you think I'm lying, do your research. And then let's talk about the thing. Let's have some real conversations. Let's have some real history lessons. Let's have some real therapy. Let's have some real conversations about Fayetteville, North Carolina, and the Fayetteville community, about how Murchison Road used to be back in the day, about when we were all brilliant and we found our way, about how we were before people got bought out for some BS industry and some tricks. Before, we were proud of our teachers and we were proud to learn, but now y'all rather suck. You got your kids doing that too. Reminding you, I was the one that was like, don't let your kids twerk like that, and especially in front of all these people, these rusty, crusty old people. Don't do that. But hey, do you? I'm learning to be in my watcher mode right now, because I realize you can't teach people who don't want to learn. But as I see that school bus right there, Mommy's reminded me, you're for the few that do. You are on your legacy. And this story does not even include them, and it's not even about them. It's about you. I got that. Is she real? She's very real. And all my stories are true. And with that being said, what does that mean to you? Robert James Franklin Jones. Frances Ruth Jones. All Joneses aren't the same. Don't ever come to me with that BS, or you'll find out just how much I know and what I can do. If I'm being watched by everybody, and I do mean everybody, shouldn't that be a lesson, a blessing, or a warning to you? Whatever it may be. I am Val Jones, naturally me. Yep. When real teachers teach, so mote that be.